Hi everyone, we are Team Auto Innovators. Meet Roger, Katie, Jenny, and myself, Nisa. We're here to take you on a journey of discovery and innovation as we explore the mechanics of the leader in the used auto industry, Carmax. Now, we're a motley crew of sorts, an editor, a Marcom manager, financial consultant, and positioning specialist built on a foundation of innovation, integrity, charisma, respect, teamwork, continuous improvement, and let's not forget, fun. So how did we come up with our team name? A mix of optimism, belief, confidence, and well, of course, we had to live up to Richard Sharp's mission of changing an entire industry. The team proclaimed themselves the auto innovators to pay homage to the auto industry and the innovative way it has been transformed for used car consumers. Our tagline, breaking down barriers to drive innovation, is part of our DNA. Team Auto Innovators is presenting the story of Carmax, a company that was owned by Circuit City until 2002. Circuit City CEO Richard L. Sharp's idea was to see if a big box mass retailer approach to selling TVs and appliances could work with used cars. Here's where it gets interesting. I bet you didn't know that Richard and team worked on this concept in secret for more than a year before it launched. This led to the creation of a revolutionary used car retail concept, Carmax. Its value proposition focused on a unique consumer offer built on transparency and no-haggle pricing, reinventing the way cars could be bought and sold. The viability of this concept was questioned many times, but Sharp and his team never wavered in their commitment to the mission to be bold and change an entire industry. Let's drive through the changes that Carmax has gone through. The first Carmax used car lot opened up in Richmond, Virginia in 1993. By 1996, Carmax acquired its first new car franchise, and the following year, a portion of Carmax was sold to the public. By 1999, Carmax recorded its first annual profit, and by 2002, Carmax spun off from Circuit City stores. The company now operates in 188 locations across the United States with revenues of $17 billion and employs about 25,000 people. Sounds interesting, right? Now let's turn the corner and switch drivers as my teammate Roger shares some more insights.
Thanks. As Nisa mentioned, Carmax triggered a revolution in used car retailing. From the beginning, Carmax has set out to offer the best product with the best services. The company's value proposition is personified by brains and yet exemplifies a great deal of heart with its no-haggle pricing and outstanding customer care. How did this all come about? Sharp looked at the used car market and saw three qualities that convinced him that the Circuit City approach to retailing could be grafted onto the used car market. First, the supply of used cars was abundant. Second, the demand for used cars was consistent. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the management practices employed within the fragmented industry were unsophisticated, often leaving customers with a negative experience. Thus, Carmax was born. The company's slogan, the way car buying should be, says a lot about Carmax and its differentiated business strategy. Sales consultants work on fixed commissions. This means that employees on the sales team don't have an incentive to push cars that generate higher margins for the company. Instead, they can focus their time and energy on finding the best vehicle for each customer. So what does it take to work at Carmax?
What does it take to work at Carmax? That's a great question.
Let's say if you got a package of crackers from the vending machine and then gave them to Dave, who looked like he needed crackers, even more than you needed crackers. Then you've got Carmax written all over you. If you'd stop in a monsoon to help someone change a tire, pull a kitten out of a place a kitten shouldn't be, never leave anyone hanging.
Good hustle.
Lend a hand in an old-timey barn raising.
You got it, Jambalaya!
Save a whale that had beached itself.
You're gonna be okay, big guy. Push!
And if the middle school dance group, Electric Sparkle Factory, was down one member because Martha pulled a hammy, and you'd step in and lead them all the way to glory.
then CarMax is for you. Because helping people is what our people are all about.
Helping people is what CarMax is all about, and they've been doing just that for more than 25 years with little to no nationwide competition. What, you say? How is that possible? Did an entire industry fall asleep at the wheel, allowing CarMax to establish national dominance in the used car space? Here is how CarMax shifted consumer thoughts on an industry historically known for lacking integrity and consumer confidence. Reputation and track record. CarMax is an established leading operator in its field and the largest retailer of used cars in the United States. Efficient sales process. CarMax offers customers an efficient and hassle-free sales process with fixed prices both online and at its sales lots, enabling customers to complete transactions efficiently. Reliability. CarMax ensures that all the vehicles it sells are quality certified, including vehicle histories and safety recall reports, and are covered by 7-day money-back guarantees and 30-day limited warranties. Accessibility and flexibility. CarMax offers tools, services online, allowing customers to quickly and efficiently initiate the sale or purchase process. It also operates an extensive sales network spanning across the United States. And finally, financing options. Financing should be stress-free, and CarMax makes financing quick, transparent, and painless for its customers without any obligations. CarMax and its value proposition are led by a well-rounded, fully functional super team. Its board of directors is a mix of talents heavily focused in operations, finance, and management. While they have representation in technology, marketing, and merchandising, we did notice that CarMax lacks strength in these 3 categories and should consider bolstering them if it wants to continue outpacing its competitors. Overlooking this blind spot may prove treacherous. Moving on and looking at the makeup of its senior leadership, it appears to mirror that of its board of directors with strength in operation, finance, management, and merchandising. Going forward, CarMax will need to strengthen its talents in technology and marketing. It would also benefit from diversifying its leadership team, especially in regarding gender. Currently, there are only 3 women between the board of directors and the senior leadership team. It's important to note that Bill Nash, president and CEO, received an 81% approval rating for his performance. He joined CarMax in 1997 as an auction manager after working for electronics retailer Circuit City, which created CarMax in 1993. He's pretty cool. Katie, are you ready to take the wheel from here?
Thanks, Jenny. Now on to the numbers. First, we'll start with CarMax's balance sheet, which shows an interesting trend in the company's liabilities, which have been shifting into the long-term category because of CarMax's current strategy to fund its expansion through debt. And while this frees up cash in the short term, in fact, CarMax's working capital increased by 7% this year, it could hurt the company in the long run if it can't keep up with debt payments. This risk is even more obvious when you consider CarMax's debt-to-assets ratio, which is 81%. This opens the company up to risk should business conditions decline. And if CarMax is unable to meet its obligations in the future, its position of strength could rapidly deteriorate. Now for the income statement. Growth rates are on the rise for CarMax as its revenues have increased because of its strong in-store execution and customer-focused upgrades to their website and digital platforms. Wholesale auction sales have also grown 4% over the past year, which can be attributed to increases in appraisal buy rates as well as their growing brick-and-mortar footprint. However, CarMax's margins show a different trend, as operating margins decreased by 0.02% over the past year. Net profit margins remain stable versus 2017, but they've dropped 0.02% as well since 2016. CarMax's decreasing margins can partly be explained by increasing operating expenses. In 2018, selling, general, and administrative expenses grew 8.64%, in line with the company's increase in net sales and operating revenue. CarMax also added 15 new locations in 2018, which contributed to its increased operating expenses for the year. Fortunately, expenses as a percentage of sales have remained stable over the past 3 years. Finally, we'll move on to cash flows, the majority of which are being generated by financing activities as opposed to operating activities, which is consistent with the company's decision to fund its growth through debt. Surprisingly, only about 14% of the company's cash at the end of the year resulted from the company's operating activities in 2018. Furthermore, the increase of Carmax's cash and cash equivalents came primarily from the balance it carried over from 2017. What we found was that Carmax currently has zero ability to turn sales into cash. And while cash flow from operating activities increased since last year, the number is still negative. Fortunately, if the current trend continues, Carmax's liquidity should improve. The biggest surprise we encountered was related to Carmax's cash flows. Even though Carmax's cash and cash equivalents have been increasing since 2016, there have been large fluctuations in operating cash flow, as you can see on the slide, going from negative 117 million in 2016 to a staggering negative 455 million in 2017. Carmax ended 2018 with negative 81 million in cash. The surprises continued when we listened to the earnings call, during which no additional information was provided related to cash flows, nor were there any questions on the matter. Fortunately, these numbers have been trending in a positive direction over the past year, so we feel optimistic about Carmax's future. Our optimism was further strengthened by the positivity and confidence the CEO conveyed throughout the earnings call. And now I'll turn it back to Nisa.
Thanks. Zooming into Carmax's social media, the auto innovators observe that the check engine lights come on when you try to look up Carmax on Twitter and Instagram, and the company needs to devote more attention to its social media platforms, considering how irregularly it posts on Instagram. In fact, it has an underwhelming 3,000 followers. Carmax's Facebook page is substantially more engaged with its customers, with about 367,000 followers. The company regularly posts updates on the company's newsfeed with stories, pictures of their various locations, and articles of interest for the average used vehicle consumer. Carmax also responds to comments from its customers and prospects. In one instance, a Facebook user commented on a post asking, "Where is the military discount? We served our country and now it's time for our country to serve us." To which Carmax responded that its upfront, no-haggle pricing guarantee prohibits any discounting, but encouraged the user to visit one of its locations to see what various programs they offer. This is just one example of how the helpful, friendly, and great customer service that customers get when they shop with Carmax. How about branding? Much like their pricing, the company has a no-nonsense approach to branding, with its website, in-store, and promotional materials singing the same blue, yellow, and white tune that makes practical sense and integrates well with the company's culture. Carmax is also known for its willingness to buy your vehicle regardless of if you return the favor. Like car lots, car buyers are assigned a salesperson to help drive their experience. The salesperson will ask questions and take potential customers on test drives. One knock on the Carmax approach: there are many brands of cars, and sometimes it's difficult to be an expert on all of them. Customer-focused sentiment is strong, and it's resonated within the earnings calls. CEO Bill Nash pointing out the importance of putting customers in the driver's seat, and that Carmax's associates are what differentiates the company from the rest.
1997 may seem like a long time ago, but while dinosaurs only roamed the earth in movie theaters, the internet was operating at prehistoric dial-up speeds. So how has Carmax kept from going extinct since going public? It did take some time for Carmax to learn how much the company could spend on a vehicle to then sell it at the right profit. Today, the company has the highest gross profit per used vehicle in the nation, and while the company used to have 500 cars on a single lot, newer dealerships feature about 150, with the ability to ship any of 70,000 vehicles nationwide. By better managing spending and inventory, Carmax has built itself into a giant, with sales numbers dwarfing even the nearest competitor. In 2018, Carmax sold nearly 722,000 used cars, while its closest competitor, Penske Automotive Group and AutoNation, sold less than half of that total. Enter Carvana. Pitched as a vending machine approach to car buying, i.e. no salespeople needed, what Carvana offers is a completely online car buying experience, which ends with front door delivery or in some markets, a date with one of its multi-story vending machines. The company has been growing and growing fast, but remains about 8 times smaller than Carmax. Carmax has survived by not allowing the competition to drive too far ahead. For the past 2+ years, the company has tested its own home delivery service and has invested heavily in its omni-channel approach. In 18 to 24 months, a nationwide rollout will include online pricing estimates, online appraisals, home delivery, and expedited pickups at stores. The omni-channel experience comes in response to evolving customer needs and preferences for more control in the car buying process. According to CEO Bill Nash, the company is committed to solving for inefficiencies while achieving cost savings through process changes that will result in a seamless experience for customers, whether they are online, in-store, or bouncing back and forth between the two. About a year ago, Carmax brought a Silicon Valley mentality to Richmond, Virginia. Focused on ways to enhance the customer user experience, a team of Carmax engineers is working to keep the company competitive online. The Carmax investment is paying off, and the team's first innovation allows car buyers to virtually tour vehicles via 360-degree photography. Carmax opened 15 stores during fiscal 2018, entering the Seattle market for the first time. The plan is to open another 15 stores during fiscal 2019. Our opinion is that as Carmax continues to take on more expenses in pursuit of innovation, it will be important for the company to manage its assets and liabilities prudently. Carmax has increased ad spending since its latest TV campaign launched in 2016, which has contributed to a decrease in operating profitability. Although it's difficult to measure the ROI on these ads, it's worth noting that we believe their quirkiness plays well in social media. Amazon currently has no plans to deliver used cars via drone, which is great news for Carmax. Although no brand would stamp itself Amazon-proof, the auto innovators are willing to say that Carmax is fairly resilient. 25 years of selling cars really does matter. The company's nationwide presence of almost 200 stores and 700,000 retail sales is driven by millions of in-store customer interactions, facilitated by its 25,000 employees, 20 million monthly website visits, and 15% year-over-year digital growth. The company's physical footprint, logistical expertise, and brand innovation will allow it to better pursue the newest digital innovations. Carmax has developed a complete business model which has yet to be fully matched by any competitor. Throughout the past 25 years, the company has shown a willingness to adapt. Through its no-haggle pricing has remained. As its omnichannel initiative rolls out nationwide over the next 2 years, the company will once again be reborn. Carmax knows that many of its customers conduct research online before visiting a dealership. Now these customers will have the option to complete a purchase from home. And when they do come to the dealership, no one will pounce on them. Well, because people don't like being pounced on, and Carmax likes people.